October 4th, 2010. So the médecin de conseil just refused. He basically kicked me out last week. I have a clip up called Il est froid, meaning he's cold. He was very cold. I called in advance to say, what will I need for this meeting? And they said you'll need your identity card, you'll need the sheet of paper which gives you the appointment, and you will need some medical papers. So I had everything, but he was frustrated because the papers weren't in perfect order, and you know, he could have just put me back out in the waiting room. I had everything with me in this big bag, you know, this big LL Bean bag. I've got all my papers in there, and I've got, well, he could have said, well, I've got other people, and so you go back out in the waiting room, get your papers in order, and let's not waste any time. I'll take you back, and I will look at your medical situation. Because I have what is called a maladie orpheline. They're not sure what this is. It might be atypical fibromyalgia. By the way, they're finding a link in fluoridated water. There is definitely a link in fluoridated water. HAS is Haute Autorité de Santé. They used to be part of the Ministry of Health. This is the Stade de France up here. And I am really in terrible pain all the time. And I have severe sleep apnea, so I sleep attached to a machine. I took a polio vaccine when I was 5 years old, and I became very ill right after that. They said to my parents, she has lupus, she's going to die. I was institutionalized, sent away to die. I missed kindergarten, and I didn't die, but they had me on cortisone for years, and my father, who was going to be a doctor, totally disagreed with the diagnosis, although I did have some of the symptoms, and did not agree with the treatment. But I was on that cortisone for years and years, and it completely screwed up my brain, so that the reptilian part of my brain doesn't function, and I don't breathe automatically when I'm asleep. So I was always waking up. As soon as I would fall asleep, I would wake up again. And people die of this all the time. You know, they just die of exhaustion. So the years went by. By the time I got to New York, and I was about 20, I went to see Social Security in New York City. This was around 1978. And I said, there's something wrong with me. I can't work. I'm not lazy, but I can't work. And they said, well, forget it, man. The city's bankrupt, and or practically bankrupt, and, you know, we don't see anything visibly wrong with you. You seem okay. Just very tired all the time, and you have this weird pain in your bones. You don't know why. And a few years ago, it was decided it really is probably fibromyalgia, but it's atypical. So there's no diagnosis. There's no treatment. You know, I just need to keep active as I can. This morning I saw a specialist at l'Hôpital de la Fontaine, and he actually reduced the amount of tramadol I'm on because he's concerned that if I'm on such a high dose of it for year after year, it will stress my already stressed liver. My liver was stressed not only from drinking in the past, but from being on a lot of things that I shouldn't have been on, anti-cholesterol medication, various antidepressants and things like that I really did not need. And I kept telling them I drink alcohol, I'm self-medicating, and they didn't care. So my liver got trashed, and I got liver cancer in 2008. I was diagnosed as having liver cancer. They sent me away to a place to die called a maison de santé after stabilizing me for a week in a public hospital. And I really felt bad for about 6 weeks, but I used hydrotherapy, meaning, you know, wet hair every morning, drip dry, you know, walking barefoot in the grass, that sort of thing. By the way, if you walk barefoot in the grass, you'll get roundworms, so you have to chew tobacco once a year to expel them. A lot of people do this with their dogs. They give them a little bit of tobacco, and they make them swallow it, and it'll kill and purge the worms. The worms won't want to stay in there with the tobacco. Tobacco is very purgative. It's not good to smoke cigarettes, but actually, in the old days, I remember when they recommended smoking lightly, to strengthen your lungs. So I'll tell you what has been decided with me in a minute. I'm going to stop this clip. I don't want it to be too long. Kind of interesting what's going on here. Okay, that's it.